for the honor. And it's always very hearty to be among my students. Praveen has been the first student of mine in the main entire career. So I have a special feeling for him, and I still remember it was 1997-98 when I went on to see him for the first time. He was in the class. So you can imagine the type of a special bonding that we're going to be having with Praveen on that counter. And it's so good to see some of my students going to be doing so well in general. This is largely because we still go on to live in an age and we still live in a culture. We still live in a culture where a student is, where a teacher has always been known by his students. This is only in India, nowhere else in the world. No one would have known Drone had Arjun not been his Shishya. No one would have known Ramakant Asrekar had Sachin Tendulkar not been his mentee. No one would have known Valmiki, and so on. You can go to take umpteen examples. India, incidentally, happens to be the only civilization in the whole of the world which always goes on to see that the next generation is going to be better, better, and better, and the previous generation goes on to draw its identity from the next generation. Hats off to this culture. That's our country. Now, this congregation and this rendezvous that we're going to be having with you, it's always going to be a fact that I'm going to remember, largely because I happen to be in Chandigarh only because of Praveen, for no one else. Supposing I'm going to begin by either asking you or you asking me. There can be only two options. We don't have so much amount of time to discuss a lot of things or issues. So, assuming that we are going for a civil services interview, we'll go on to begin. Either I going to ask you a question or you going to ask me a question, and that's how exactly we're going to set the tone. We'll let you know whether your questions have been relevant or not, whether that should have been there or not, and then I'm going to ask you a question, and that is all going to be tease and torment you for the next 3 hours or so. So, who will decide whether I will going to ask you a question or you will going to ask me a question? I have given the ball in your court.
Yeah, students, tell how do you want it to be like?
Now let me see how is it that you have been brought up in this institute and how is it that you are going to ask a question without her motivating you. So will you like to? No. ये तो बहुत दुख की बात है. It's really sad. Sad for Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Okay, now I want to ask you a question then. Agree? So, do I have a right to ask you a question specifically by pointing it out? Now you're going to answer this question. Because you have missed the bus. The only option left to me is to pinpoint. Now you're going to answer this question. Will you enjoy this part? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So the moment I go to ask a question, some of the people start looking down. That's a good trick. Some of people start practicing it now as well, so that they don't want to look in their eyes. Supposing that question goes on to go to all of you, and let me see who goes on to come up with an answer, with a response, with a reaction, with a reply. Do you get that? The meaning of all these words happen to be different. I said, who gives me an answer, who goes on to give me a reaction, who responds to it, who replies to it, and who analyzes that. Right? One question that you are going to be asked, if you are appearing for the interview on this day, will be, what is the significance of this date? What is the significance of this day, today? Now, you neither go on to follow your protocol, not mine. Neither you are asking me a question. When I am asking you a question, you are keeping quiet.
Festival of Mahashivratri.
Sorry?
Festival of Mahashivratri.
Okay. Why it is a festival? Now you are trapped. Right? Can you go on to talk to me standing, if you don't mind that? That's so good. You seem to be a good boy. Now, why it's a festival?
It's a festival because it's an Indian tradition to celebrate some occasions as a special days. So that's why it's a festival. Like we celebrate Diwali.
So are you going to be celebrating Mahashivratri the way that you're going to be celebrating Diwali or Dussehra or...
Every occasion has its own value and every occasion has its own purpose. So the purpose of Mahashivratri can be different from Diwali.
Okay, it can be individual as well. If you are going to be feeling happy, you can go to turn any day into a festivity. Right?
Yes.
So festival is a relative term. It may be festival for you, it may not be for me. So what is a festival? How it is a festival for you?
Because it has been passed down from the because being a Hindu, it has been passed in my culture that it is a festival. Like we have to celebrate it. There are special days.
Now, why can't you go to celebrate some, for that matter, Eid?
Sir, it is not that. It's about being.
You said Hindu,
Yes.
and then you said that is being a Hindu, it is your right to celebrate this festival, right?
And sir, some of the festivals, the government of India also tries.
I'm talking about you, not about the government of India.
Sir, being a Hindu is my choice. That it is being secular.
What do you understand by Hindu? Are you proud of being a Hindu? Are you proud of being a Hindu?
So actually the word Hindu has two definitions. Like
My question is simple.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Are
I am proud.
you proud of being a Hindu?
Yes, sir. I am proud.
Or are you proud of Hinduism?
Sir, I am proud of being a Hindu.
Now, it is not your choice. You have been brought up in a family by accident that you were born in a Hindu family, right? Now, is it not that you will go on to give a greater amount of respect to Hinduism by following its philosophy and tenets? Because you can be proud of Islam as well. Because the tenets of Islam go on to be so good. It's a different matter that some people go on to interpret in a different manner. But then the tenets of any religion, for example Sikhism as well, that goes on to be wonderful. Where exactly that you go on to find that you're going to be talking about, that is every person is a winner. It's not in Hinduism, it is in Sikhism. Why Guru Di Fatah, right? You're going to be talking about which is the highest form of worship. They're going to be calling it Sat Sri Akal. It's not in Hinduism.
So what I believe by Hindu, and not specifically by Hinduism, is that Hindu is a much larger concept. It is not just about the religion Hinduism, it's about the people that live inside and the...
My question was simple. Should you be proud of being a Hindu or should you be proud of Hinduism?
So, Hindu.
That means you are a fundamentalist. You are? So you are not fit for civil services. We don't require people who go on to be having such type of extreme viewpoint. If you are proud of Hinduism and you are posted in a region where there is a majority of population that is a Christian or Islamic or maybe you are going to be following Sikhism, then you will be always administering those regions with a blinkered vision, with a veil around your eyes. So you are not fit for administration. Do you find that you have got yourself trapped? How much?
Very
Deep inside. Okay, sit down. I mean, you have done a good amount of justice to all the people who have been there, right? So we have still not got that answer. First is it a festival? If it's a festival, then what exactly are you celebrating? Agreed. Take an example. It's a festival, it's not a festival. You are going to say that it's a festivity for me because I'm going to be celebrating this concept of Mahashivratri. It's a concept, right? It's not that you go on to start moving on the roads with bhabut and everything, with snakes around you, and you're going to be completely bindas on the roads. Is it so? It is so? No? So you're not celebrating it that way. You are only worshipping it. It's an event where you're going to bow down to someone who is much more powerful than you. Right? So it's a day that has been created ritualistically so that you can go on to pay your respect to the person who is a much more better, much more powerful, much more handsome than you. Right? So whom I am talking about? Whom am I talking about? I am talking about Shiv or I am talking about Shankar. I am talking about Shiv or I am talking about Shankar. You said that you are a Hindu. You are a devout Hindu. So answer me. That's the basic tenet. That's the basic tenet. Now, at this age, if you are not able to differentiate or not able to reply the difference between Shiv and Shankar, what should I understand? Is it a good sign? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. Okay, I agree. And that's a good sign of a student that you agree to it. Both of these are different. Shankar happens to be the name of a person who was very worldly. He went on to get married to a lady whose name was Parvati, who was the daughter of Parvat, who was the daughter of mountain. Right? That's the meaning of the name. I don't know what is the reality because I was not born at that point of time. Right? So that was what was the meaning of it. And he was very, very worldly, so much so that he used to be leading a life that was full of conjugal bliss of sorts. Right? That was Shankar. Shiv is a concept that is incorporating everything that is going to be completely bindas. That is, I go on to live my life the way I want to without harming anyone. So, sometimes I can go on to be a gypsy, sometimes I can go on to be a lover of animal, sometimes I go on to be showering myself with ashes, sometimes I go on to dip into water, sometimes I go on to do tapasya on the Mansarovar, sometimes I lead my life the way that I want to. And my life is in my control, and that I am enjoying my life and I am going to be living it to the fullest possible extent. Sometimes I go to like to drink marijuana, sometimes I like to smoke marijuana, sometimes I like to smoke grass, sometimes I go to take a caveat of animals of all the types, and I am a complete nature lover because I am a person who has been born with nature, I live with nature and will go to die with nature. That is Shiv. Shiv is a concept, it's not the name of a person. Shankar happens to be the name of a person. That's why you are asked, are you a Brahmite, Vaishnavite or Shivite? Shivite means you go on to be completely bindas. And anyone who is going to be completely bindas, who goes on to be having a good body, who goes on to be completely with nature, and who is going to be very, very honest to himself, who has an excellent communication skill, and one who can go to do no harm to others, one who goes on to understand the emotions of all of them, they are always bound to be the cynosure of eyes of the girls. That's the basic reason girls go to worship Shiv, because he is completely bindas, wacky in nature. That's the basic nature that goes on to. One is organized, girls are thinking wise, very, very organized, and a Shiv type of person who is not so, he is completely unorganized. That's the wonderful wrong to do. That's the basic reason. How many girls have you found worshipping Indra? Give me one. Give me one example. He is a so-called god. Is it? Is it? You're going to find few people worshipping Ram because he was one of these persons who went on to ask his wife to leave his house for any reason. Right? And even Lakshmi doesn't go on to be liking Mr. Vishnu as much as she goes on to be having a liking for Shiv. You're going to find both of them at one place, at Kshir Sagar. That's the only place that you're going to like to be. No other place. Now, we are not talking about Hinduism, we are not talking about philosophy, we are talking about the type of questions that can be generated when you are in the interview. You're going to make one mistake, you're going to make another mistake, you're going to make the third mistake, you're going to make the fourth mistake, and then the moment you started using these words, these words start becoming some of these focal points on which the questions are going to be asked. So you talked about festival. Do you understand the meaning of festival? Answer is, if I going to be talking about you, the answer is no right now. Right? It's a festival for me because it's a festival for me today. Why? Because I'm here. I'm here with Praveen. I'm here with you. Right? That's a festival for me because I have completely left something that I was doing under too much amount of stress, and I have a severe infection in my eyes. I'm in enormous amount of pain, but I'm not still feeling it because I'm with you. Right? It's a festival for me. Festival is anything that you can go to create for you. If you are a devout Shaivite, it's a festival for you when you go to worship it. It's like when you go to disco, when you're going to pub, you're going to drink yourself, to drowse yourself to such an extent that you're going to forget the whole of the world, and you don't going to think bad about anyone. It's Shaivite. That's the concept. Which is the one God anywhere in the world, in any religion, who goes into drink, eat, make merry, who goes to play with snakes and things like that. It's a concept. Hinduism is not a religion, it's a way of life. It's not a religion. Religion is Islam. Islam is a universalizing religion. Hinduism is an ethnic religion. It's a way of life. If you're worshipping God, you're a Hindu. If you're not worshipping God, still you are a Hindu. You can be a theist or you can be theist. If you're worshipping a deity, you are a Hindu. If you're not worshipping a deity, you're still a Hindu. If you are married, you are still following something like a life. If you're not, you are going to be all good. That's also a Hindu. So pick up anything and go to fit this word Hinduism, and it goes on to become a full-fledged concept into it. And that's one of the reasons why this way of